On today's show,
It wasn't until like the third quarter, my coach pulled me aside after a timeout and was like, "Hey, you're gonna keep trying to score. We're gonna leave you in until you get this record." So, shout out to him for allowing me to do that.
Picking things up for a Thursday edition of Kansas Sports Chatter. Welcome into the program, a statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. It is episode number 40. We made it to 40, and a big thanks and why making it to 40. Our sponsors, Meyers Enterprises, bring your business into the 21st century and stand out from the noise. SPX LED video walls. They install the video walls for indoor environments such as high school gyms. And Wheatland Electric, headquarters in Scott City, serving 14 of Kansas counties, owned by the people that they serve. Hey, today's show, it's another good one, of course. As you look at the guests, our leadoff question will include Bella Galliart, Jaylee Wickwar, and Malia Ruda, all members of the Holcomb girls basketball team. Tyler Gonzales, head coach of the Maize high school wrestling team, will join us in talking about his career and also in his first season with the Maize Eagles. Sarah Smith, one of the assistant executive directors for KSHSAA, will be joining us as she oversees the KSHSAA Hall of Fame as they announced last month the 5 new inductees. Brian Gormley with Sacred Heart, the boys basketball coach, off to a red-hot start and picking up a win earlier this week already against Southeast of Saline, will join us. And Jimmy Dorsey with Baker University men's basketball team and out of Wellsville High School will close out the show as our next-level talents. Here is our leadoff question as we get to talk with the Holcomb Longhorns. It is today's leadoff question with Bella Galliart, a member of the Holcomb High School girls basketball team. Bella, your question today, what's your favorite place to play at besides your home court?
I think my favorite place to play is probably whenever we went to Hutch for state, the Hutch Sports Arena. It's just a really good atmosphere. It's really fun to play at.
What made that arena so special for you?
It was our first time at state in a while, actually, and it was my last time actually stepping on the court with one of my best friends I made do this program. So it was just a really special moment for me, and I really will remember it probably for the rest of my life.
You talk about depth perception in a gym, in sports arena, is a bigger arena. Like, what was that adjustment like for you, just kind of even adjusting to the goals?
I would say it was pretty hard because the student section's right behind the goal, right where you shoot free throws. It's so loud in there. So you really got to focus in on what you're doing because you can't really hear anything else.
Like, did you catch yourself looking around from time to time?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Any specific highlights for while playing on that gym?
Probably me scoring our first points in the corner. It was a 3. I think it was Malia Ruda. She passed it to me. I just shot it, and it just went in, and the whole arena just erupted, and it was crazy.
Nice. That's Bella Galliart, a member of the Holcomb High School girls basketball team, with our leadoff question. It's today's leadoff question with Jaylee Wickwar, a member of the Holcomb High School girls basketball team. Jaylee, where is your favorite place to play at besides your own home court?
I would have to say that my favorite place to play besides our home court is probably Scott City, just because of the atmosphere that we play in whenever we play there.
Anything else that stands out about that gym that's unique that you like?
I really like how the gym is kind of sunken in and all the bleachers surround it, and then they have the top area, so it just gives it a really good atmosphere and vibe in the gym.
Have you performed well in that gym?
Yes, I think I did last year maybe.
Any specific highlights that stand out while playing there?
I think just any time going there knowing that we are rivals, just playing good there and playing as a team, that is really fun there.
What's that mental state like when you're going on the road, when you know you're in an away game?
I think we just try and prepare kind of the same as how we do at home, but know that there's that extra pressure of like, there's a lot more fans watching, like from other towns, and just that we're rivals. So gotta lock in a little bit more probably.
Scott City's gym, is that one of the tougher places to play?
Yes, probably, because their student section and crowd is really loud. So sometimes it can be a little bit rowdy.
Any unique things that the student section has done there?
Not that I can really remember.
Okay.
But
just loud, huh?
Yeah, they're just really loud. They're a good student section.
That is Jaylee Wickwar, a member of the Holcomb girls basketball team, with our leadoff question. It's today's leadoff question with Malia Ruda, a member of the Holcomb girls basketball team. Malia, the question, where's your favorite place to play at besides your home court?
My favorite place to probably play at is probably Colby.
What stands out about Colby?
I think one thing that stands out to me is I always have a big family support there because there's so many people that live close to that area. So that really plays a big part or special thing to me, because just having support just really means a lot to me. And then just always having people there cheering us on is really important to me.
Now, did you ever play at the older community building, or have you always played at the new event center?
In middle school, we did play there, but then all throughout my high school career, we played in the college one.
Okay. Do you like the newer facilities?
Yes, I do. I like how it's a lot bigger, so you have fans on either side, and they're just looking down at you on the court. It's pretty special.
Any specific highlights or moments in that gym?
This year, we just played them in our last game Tuesday, and I think one thing is we beat them our first time on their home court for the first time in my 4 years of being here. So that was pretty special.
Do you ever catch yourself on road games just kind of looking around, just taking things in?
Yes, it's pretty special. Those bus rides with my teammates, I think that's one of my favorite things, is just making memories on the bus ride, but also being able to lock in when we can, and just thinking about how we prepare for this game, and just being able to focus.
That is Malia Ruda, a member of the Holcomb girls basketball team, with our leadoff question. Thanks to the three Longhorns of Holcomb High School, Bella Galliart, also Jaylee Wickwar and Malia Ruda joining us for our leadoff question. Great start out west for the Holcomb basketball teams. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk wrestling with Tyler Gonzales, the head coach in his first year with Maize High School, coaching the Eagles in their wrestling program. Gonzales joins us next. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. Welcome back on the show. It's time for our quality time interview, an opportunity to spend a little extra time with our next guest, and that guest is going to be Tyler Gonzales, the head wrestling coach for Maize High School. Hey, Coach, appreciate you coming on. I mean, a first-year coach, what's that experience been like settling into Maize?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me on. Maize has been great, man. It's developed into a little bit of a wrestling community here with their success that they've had at the youth program and some past high school teams. So, I've been a head coach and been an assistant coach the last couple of years at some other schools, and being here at Maize, the staff, the parents, everybody's been pretty welcoming and trying to help me just navigate, some of those ins and outs that can be different from school district to district, and maybe just some different expectations or wants and needs that people want to see. But overall, it's been great.
You talk about experience, like coming in as a first-year coach. Did it help out knowing that, Maize did have a decent amount of experience from a year ago?
Yeah, I have some connections throughout the state, and Maize was definitely a place where I'd known some people that they have assistant coaches and other people here in the building. And so, knowing those people has helped me navigate that a little bit, but then also knowing that you get kids that have a wrestling IQ, wrestling background, and are really driven to compete in the sport. So, these kids have been earning for something like that. And so just trying to help them along the way.
You talked about, kind of building a wrestling community there at Maize and the youth program. Like, how important is that just to continue to get that interest and build things up, especially at a young age?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compete in wrestling, there's never necessarily a wrong time to get started, right? Like we have kids even here in our high school team that it's their first year doing it as freshmen or sophomores. But obviously having that experience at the youth level, you've got kids who just kind of know how tournaments work, what the training cycle's like, what practices should look like, hard work. And then you just have that internal competition. And so, some of our weights, we have 4 or 5 kids per weight class, and there's really a fight to just even be like number 2 or number 3 on the depth chart. And, it's great. Like, I think in this day and age, you see a lot of kids who want to transfer just because they're not starting somewhere. And we've talked about it in our own program here with the parents and the culture. And that's really just kind of the wrong attitude, to be honest. Like, we want people to feel like they've earned the opportunity to start for Maize Wrestling. And whether that's the freshman or sophomore, senior, junior, whenever it's your time and you've gotten that opportunity to wrestle, there's also like that knowing factor on our end as coaches that we know you're ready to compete for us at the varsity level and that it wasn't just, given in that regard.
Building up that depth, even at the high school level, Tyler, like how important is that? And how much do you kind of see that come into a factor, throughout the season of just making sure you do have some depth?
Yeah, it's a tough sport, right? Wrestling's a tough, grueling sport. On the body, on the mind. We span 2 semesters, right? So first semester is wrapping up right now, and unfortunately, sometimes you have some kids who struggle academically, and they may not be around second semester even. So between injuries, unforeseen other things that could happen, it's nice to obviously have a little bit of depth in there, and then you want to be able to challenge those varsity guys. Like, you don't want people to get complacent. You don't want them to feel super safe in their spot and their lineup. But then just in the practice room, having somebody that can help push them and challenge them in the practice room, right? Because we can't practice alone in wrestling. You need a workout partner, and you can go up and down and wrestle with other varsity guys, but sometimes we want to be able to have that fresh rotation on them. And so having the backups or the young pups being able to do that with their experience really sets a different tone for us, I think.
Talking with Tyler Gonzales, the head coach of the Maize Wrestling Program. For you, from Shawnee Heights High School out in Topeka, like it seems like wrestling was pretty strong in your family, but did you always enjoy wrestling as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I played football and baseball also pretty much my whole life, and but just was around wrestling literally my entire life. From the time I was born, never missed a state tournament until I got to college and was doing my own thing at that level. But, just always was around dad, was always around the other high school teams, thought of those guys as my brothers in that regard, and just having big brothers around. And there was never really a time where I felt like I needed to take a break from the sport as a competitor, as a coach. It's just, it's just what I do. I mean, even season's over, high school wise, just trying to get guys into the freestyle and Greco scene in the spring and summer, getting guys into the weight room. Like, it's just kind of becomes a lifestyle, like a lot of sports might say. But for us, it's just, there's always something that we can do. There's always a way to get better at our craft, right? Like, wrestling's a little bit just like a martial arts. And so there's so much to learn from it, and so many little situations and positions and moves that I don't think you can ever really get bored with the sport.
What was that experience like with your dad, coaching you, especially in high school, and able to, share in that state championship there at Shawnee Heights?
Yeah, I mean, that was magical. That was fun. It was a great opportunity that not everybody gets to have. And I've got a couple coaches right now on staff with their own sons on the team. And so hopefully we can get them to that point as well and have those kind of memories. But, I can't say that it was all rainbows and sunshines, right? Like, there were tough times, and there were times where it felt like, man, this guy's a lot harder on me than other people, or even just the expectation, right, from the outside world. And I think we pay a lot more attention to mental health and things like that nowadays, but just that outside source of pressure. And I definitely felt that, and I didn't know who to really talk to about some of those things when I was younger. But now being able to translate those kind of things and talk with our team about that aspect of outside pressure and just how to deal and handle those things. So there were some quiet dinners and some quiet rides, not, but at the end of the day, it was a really special thing to be able to share with my dad.
Eventually draw into Fort Hays State University to wrestle. What was that experience like for you, and kind of what attracted you to Fort Hays?
Yeah, with Fort Hays, that was, I've had some family members that also went there, aunts and uncles and my own dad. And I think I was drawn to one, it wasn't too far away from home, but it was close enough also. Coach Bickley, who was my first college coach there at Fort Hays, and really honestly the main reason I chose to go to Fort Hays. Had some football scholarship opportunities to try and maybe also do that, but just felt the honesty from Coach Bickley, felt the genuineness talking with him. And on my end, it was different because I was looking to wrestle for the first coach that really wasn't going to be my dad, right? And so just the way that Coach Bickley, it felt like, handled that, the way he treated me, it felt like home after my first visit out there. And so from then on, Fort Hays just kind of became the place I spent the next couple of years while I was in college. I didn't go home much. It was just my place to train and study.
Now, from what I remember of Coach Cody Bickley, I mean, you guys ate a lot of Subway, right? Like, do you still like Subway?
I do not. No, I do not eat much Subway at all. I think it was pretty tough to get him to even just change it up to Quiznos or Good Sense, but successful a time or two.
Like, when you finished with college, like, did you know right away that you wanted to get into coaching? Like, when did that bug kind of bite you?
Yeah, I think I just wasn't quite. I think it's a thing that a lot of college athletes probably honestly struggle with, is like understanding, like, oh, my sport's over. There's no more practice. There's no more competitions. Like, what do I do with my time? But, also, like, in that regard, what do I do with this gift that God gave me, right? The blessings that he gave me with the sport and the skill set. And so not wanting to waste that opportunity. From even high school time frame, I would turn around from high school practice and go help our youth kids club at the Thunderbird Kids Club there in Shawnee Heights, and at Fort Hays, helping out the Hays Wrestling Club, and being able to help coach some of the national team or summer teams in Kansas while I was in college. And so it just honestly felt like a natural fit. A lot of times people are like, when you love what you do or whatnot, it doesn't feel like you work a day in your life. And so unfortunately, as wrestling coaches, we got to find some other things to do, right, to pay the bills. But being able to coach wrestling and being able to give back to the sport has just honestly felt like it's been with me for probably the last 20 years or so, since I was in high school. And I wouldn't probably have it any other way, to be honest.
You talk about rewarding. You also been serving on the Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association, or the KWCA. What has that meant for you and just that experience?
It's been a great experience on my end, like learning, to be honest. As much as I've been around the sport, there's so much more to learn from other coaches and the way that they run their practices, the way they run their programs, just rules and regulations, perspective. I was born with my opportunities and the things that I've been able to do, but there's a lot of other opportunities or things out there that I just haven't experienced. And so Kansas has a lot of small town, one town high schools. And so the understanding what their perspective is like trying to compete, or those coaches, the battles that they might face can be different from somebody who has multiple high schools in their city. Right. And so that opportunity has been great. The opportunity to just learn more about the sport from a national level, from coaches, rules and regulations, and understanding that is obviously really important. But the ability to then spread that education to my team, I think, has been really beneficial in their understanding of the sport.
Coach, appreciate it, and best of luck this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That is Tyler Gonzales, head coach of the Maize wrestling team, and that'll do it for our Quality Time interview. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. Welcome back on the show. It's time for our Acacia Info segments here on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to bring in one of the administrators for the Kansas State High School Activity Association. Our guest today is Sarah Smith, one of the assistant executive directors. Sarah, appreciate your time. You also, among other things, oversee the Acacia Hall of Fame. So you guys recently released those names of the candidates for 2026. So what is occupying your time right now? How are you staying busy?
Well, with the Hall of Fame specifically, we are just reaching out to those recent inductees and, planning where they would like to be recognized and have their induction proceedings, and just starting that communication process and data collection. And it's just a great time of year to celebrate Kansans and all the great things that they've done in our member schools.
You talk about celebrating Kansas. Like, how much do you just enjoy? Like I said, you have other job duties, but like, how much do you enjoy this Hall of Fame and helping organize it?
It's a really fun process. I am the liaison for the Hall of Fame committee. And so the process kind of looks like we take nominations up to early November, and we collect those nominations. And this year we had 29. And we have a committee of 8 individuals, great individuals, very knowledgeable about Kansas schools, Kansas athletics, Kansas educators. And we take those nominations and spread them out amongst the committee. We have a meeting date in typically late November, early December. And that group of highly intelligent, very inquisitive individuals, they do a lot of research on the individuals that they're discussing through the Hall of Fame. And we meet and they spend a day, making decisions and distinguishing and looking for, that wow factor in the nominations.
What's it like tracking, like once you select your finalists, like what's it like tracking those people down and just seeing where they're at, and then also, trying to organize, how they're going to be honored later on in the year?
Yeah, so, we communicate either directly with the individual that's been selected or with the individual that has nominated them. And so, we reach out and we obviously, make them aware that they've been selected for the Hall of Fame. We send them Acacia postseason event dates, and they can make some selections on where they would like to be recognized. Or they could be recognized at a high school event or a local event. We really leave that up to the inductee. We want to make sure it's a special event for them and make sure it's a comfortable environment for them to be recognized. So we have a lot of state events in the wintertime and specifically the spring when our nominees are recognized. And so it's a communication process. I also work to put together some recognition videos for them as well. But it's a coordination process between the inductee, the location, the administration, and a lot of communication of back and forth between those individuals.
Well, let's start at the beginning. I mean, you look at the 5 inductees for the class of 2026. Sarah, Richard Burchard, I mean, longtime administrator. I mean, stops at Stockton and Holton and the Blue Valley District. A lot of experience with Richard.
Yeah, Richard has just been very impactful in the administrative landscape in the state of Kansas. He was the first Kansan in history to earn the Certified Master Athletic Administrator designation from the NIAAA. He's been named the Athletic Director of the Year from the KIAAA. He's been very influential and very active in the KIAAA, which is the Kansas Association of Athletic Administrators. Just very, very impactful and made a lot, his contribution probably is immeasurable with the number of students that he's impacted throughout the state of Kansas.
Mike Bradley, I mean, you talk about a standout athlete, a track athlete, especially at a Wetmore High School, getting inducted was pretty cool.
Yeah. Mike is, he was just an exceptional athlete, exceptional individual. Teams would literally plan around Mike Bradley and how they were going to try to contain him on the football field, on the basketball court, and try to compete with him on the track. He set multiple records at the 1A state track meet. He was the Kansas Player of the Year in basketball, now the Gatorade Player of the Year. He participated in the National Junior Olympics, had a very decorated career at Kansas State University. multiple sport athlete at Coffeyville Community College. Just a tremendous, tremendous athlete.
Elizabeth Dutton, I mean, you talk about experience, decades at one school and with speech, debate, and theater. She's racked up a lot of accolades.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers behind Elizabeth Dutton. She's very influential in speech, debate, and the theater programs at Sterling High. She has 27 KSHSAA state championships and 7 more debate championships as well. She was in the Kansas Speech Communication Association Hall of Fame. She was inducted into that association in 2017. She has had 106 students medal in state debate and 345 in competitive forensics, including 86 state champions. So she's just been very, very influential. The theater at Sterling High is named after her. It's named the Betsy Dutton Theater, and she's just made a lot of impact with her students throughout, a very storied career of 41 years at Sterling High School.
Going over the 2026 Hall of Fame class through KSHSAA as Sarah Smith, our guest, one of the assistant executive directors for KSHSAA and overseeing the Hall of Fame class. So for you, I mean, you look at, Bill Johnson, like when you think about some of the all-time greats in wrestling in the state of Kansas, Bill Johnson from Norton comes to mind really quickly.
Sure. Yeah. He was a coach and administrator for over 30 years at Norton. Racked up a lot of accolades in that wrestling program. When you think of Norton wrestling, you think of Bill Johnson. He was the 321A KWCA Coach of the Year. He's had numerous national accolades with the National Wrestling Coaches Association, 49 individual state champions, 156 state medalists. He's just had a very tremendous career in the wrestling realm. From 2000 to 2021, his teams finished in the top 5 at the state tournament 19 times with 11 team state titles. So he's just had a very storied career, very influential in the wrestling realm, especially at Norton High School.
And if the class wasn't good enough, you added a guy like Barry Sanders.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of interesting because a lot of people are saying they can't believe Barry Sanders hadn't been inducted into the Hall of Fame up until this point. But, it takes a nomination, and we finally got that nomination in for Barry Sanders. Obviously a very high-profile athlete, went to Wichita North, and eventually inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He finished with 1,417 yards, rushing on 139 carries, starting in Game 3 of his senior season, and eventually the MVP of the Kansas Shrine Bowl. And of course, went on, to win the Heisman Trophy. He was the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft, playing with the Detroit Lions. So just obviously a very storied career for Barry Sanders, and very influential on many athletes in the state of Kansas, as that's who they aspire to be. So we're very happy to see Barry Sanders being inducted in the KSHSAA Hall of Fame.
I can't wait to, start honoring some of these inductees over the next year, Sarah. But how early does the process start for the 2027 class? We can start receiving nominations right away. And, we just try to really get the word out about the process. And like I said, it takes a nomination. So we encourage our schools, our school administrators to, nominate those individuals that they think is deserving. And so we can start receiving nominations immediately, but we tend to see a lot of those start to filter in into the fall. But that process is year round. So we welcome people to nominate individuals they feel are worthy for the KSHSAA Hall of Fame. Again, it starts all over back in the fall. And so we start those considerations in November and December and start the process over again. Sarah, hats off to you and your committee on an excellent class. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you, Cole. Appreciate it.
That is Sarah Smith, one of the assistant executive directors for KSHSAA, overseeing the KSHSAA Hall of Fame, and that'll do it for our KSHSAA Info segment.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator. all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. Welcome back on the show. It is time to talk some basketball with our next guest, as Brian Gormley, the head coach of the Sacred Heart boys basketball team, joining us now. Hey, Coach, thanks for coming on the show. For you, you got some games under your belt already now in the new year, but like that, when you get back from Christmas break and the second semester, do you feel that re-energized focus for the basketball season?
Absolutely. You know, we had a nice 8-day break away from basketball. I don't even know if we put in our best outing on our last game before break, but it was kind of good to get away for a little over a week. And then the guys came back, and it was really a nice setup. You walk in on Monday morning, we practice Monday through Thursday, game on that Friday, and then you're back rolling again in your post-Christmas schedule.
Well, you talk about those outcomes right before the Christmas break, probably your two closest games so far in the season after a great start already with the undefeated record. But, like, you look at those two games, like Berean Academy, like what stood out about that game that caused some problems and had to pull out a close one?
Berean's defense is always a problem. They're just an excellent defensive ball club. They are definitely one of the better teams in Class 2A. They guard hard. They don't give you I told the kids after the game, we scored 50 points. They're like, you earned all 50 of those buckets. So they do a fantastic job, have for a long, long time. And I look for them to be in the mix all the way through the entire season. The game at home versus Lions, we were looking forward. We played our first game of the year at home. And then we went on the road for 6, and then for 5, and then we came back home for that seventh game right before break, and we were looking forward to it. And we didn't quite have the flow to our offense that we had established already. I think not having Dominic Matucci in the lineup had a little bit of effect there, also coming off that Berean game. But I'll have to give a lot of credit to Lions. They did a fantastic job making us uncomfortable, and they did a good job scrapping for the entire 4 quarters.
You talk about your flow, like what has been that flow like this year, and what has made this team so successful?
Well, offensive flow, I'd have to start with our three-point shooting. I mean, we put 4, 5, 6 guys out there who can all shoot the three pretty well. And, it's not unusual for us to walk away from a game with 8, 9, 10, 11 made threes, which, it stretches defense out. You got to come out and guard us. If we hit them in barrages, then we can have a big quarter. And so that helps our flow. But, when you're able to get teams spread out, it usually opens up opportunities to attack the rim. And in that game, Lions did a great job of shutting down lanes and getting hands-on passes. They got a lot of deflections and caused us to have 22 turnovers in that game, which was by far the most that we've had all season. Like, for example, we came back last week in our first game after break, and we had single-digit turnovers. I think we had like 7 in that game. So, normally our guys we have good ball handlers and shooters, and that usually gives us a good offensive rhythm. And that game, it was just a little off.
You talk about that outside shooting, and like, this group of guys, have they always been known for that outside shot? Did you kind of know that over the last couple of years that you had that capability?
Well, we have a lot of guys this year that we played with last year. We have 7 of our top 8 guys from last year are back. And we shot it well last year. I mean, not great, but we definitely shot it well. So we knew the potential to stretch teams out behind the three-point line existed. Last year, it was kind of out of necessity. We had sophomores and juniors on the floor. We were a little undersized. And, this year these guys have grown, gotten bigger, gotten more confident, a little better in their game. So we are able to attack the rim a little bit better. But last year was kind of out of necessity, and we did well. And this year we figured there'd be a strength for us coming in.
You look at offenses, and always looking for that open shot, but like how much, when you do have that 3-point shooting ability, how much are you tailoring your offense to find outside shots? Like, does that go into a factor, like how much you want to work your offense as far as just getting that open shot from outside?
We probably, like most other teams, we prefer to attack inside out. I mean, we want to make you collapse and try to protect the rim and then spray the ball back out and look for the next best three. And we use it in different ways, but that's the primary way that we like to get our 3-point shots: attack the lane, kick it out, maybe make the one more pass, and allow guys to get good looks.
For you, I mean, you look at, your coaching career in year number 8 now, as far as consecutive years, and spent a long time in the Salina area in general, including with Sacred Heart. Like, what stands out about Sacred Heart that you just enjoyed so much over your career?
Well, I mean, number one, it starts with the school and the foundation of the school. I mean, it's a lot bigger than the basketball program. And we have a lot of great support from our Catholic community here. And I've already had 6 of my kids go through the St. Mary's grade school and Sacred Heart Junior Senior High School. And I've got 2 more in right now. So I have a daughter who's a junior. I have a son who's a 7th grader. So Sacred Heart's been a big, big part of our family, our lives. And like I said, it goes beyond just high school basketball. I've had an opportunity to be part of coaching other programs. I'm currently with the junior high football program. I've been to high school baseball, and I've taught here for 30 years too. So it's been a big part of our lives, and we love it here.
You mentioned the junior high, and I know there's some obvious differences, but when you're coaching junior high and going to the high school level, what are some of the things that maybe you have to scale back or maybe just change?
Yeah, with age and experience, guys can just do more things. So I went from coaching high school boys for 7 years, and then I did go back into that junior high for a little while, and then came back to the high school. But the fundamentals are what everybody's trying to teach kids to defensively, to help and recover, block out on shots, how to get through screens and communicate on defense, and good closeout technique and all that stuff. And you just see the progression. You start from the foundation. And I've had the privilege of watching these guys. They play their home games. Our junior high plays them right here in our high school gym. We get a lot of opportunities to watch them, and you see them just grow and develop from that aspect. You see them develop range on their shooting. They go from guys who have to heave it there to just try to get it from the 3-point arc to guys who can shoot the ball from 23, 24 feet. So it's fun to watch the progression of guys who put the time in and the work to become better players. And a lot of our guys, we've been very fortunate they've done that.
Are you seeing those? This is kind of like going like old school. Like, are you seeing those fundamentals still being implemented? Like when guys are getting into junior high and into high school, has any of that changed, or have you seen like a difference as far as what they know at that stage?
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen huge difference. There's definitely an emphasis on shooting the 3 ball. You'll see more kids if you go to youth tournaments or whatnot. They'll find the arc. And it's just, I remember, coaching youth sports, even my own kids growing up and their teams 20 years ago, you would kind of steer them away from the 3-point line a little bit because they're physically not ready to shoot it. You don't really do that now. You're just fighting an uphill battle. You just kind of understand that they're going to do it. There is a payoff if they become good at it. And, when you're coaching 5th grade boys, for example, if they can score 30 points in a game, they probably have a good chance of winning. And number 2, if you can knock down 4 threes, oh my goodness, that's a cause for celebration. So that's been more of an emphasis. I don't think that's all bad because guys who want to develop in the game will spend time, and it still just comes down to being a gym rat and putting shots up and working on technique and just getting better and better at spinning the ball up there.
I know it's very prevalent in football. I always hear about, coaches that want like their similar offensive style being implemented like at a younger age, whether it's even in the, Pop 1 or the grade school, but especially when they get to middle school. Do you see that in basketball too, or do you kind of stay out of the way, whether it's like an elementary coach or a junior high coach, or whether it's something similar so they know your system once they get to high school?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're super fortunate there. I've got Ryan Modine, who used to be the head boys coach and longtime assistant at Salina Central. And he was looking for a shortened season and whatnot. I'm like, hey, we've got something for you. Our junior high season hits fast and heavy. It starts in mid-October and it's done before they, head into Christmas. So it kind of fit his schedule and he wanted to go ahead and give it a shot. He's also a Sacred Heart alumnus from the great class of 1995. And he's come over and just done a fantastic job. He incorporates the basics of our offense, which I do like because the kids come in freshman year and they have a fundamental understanding of what we want to do. And defensively, they coach them really well on how to do those 5 or 6 things fundamental that we were talking about before, jumping to the ball, talking, communicating, blocking out, those sort of things that, you just emphasize those things and the kids learn those things, then you can take them into any system. But it is definitely a blessing when the kids come in and they've had that kind of coaching, and then we just get to keep developing them from there.
Hey, Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
That's Brian Gormley, the head coach of the Sacred Heart Knights, and we'll take a break and have more of the show right after this.
Whether on the field or in the stands, displaying good sportsmanship creates the positive environment for our students. When you attend high school events, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior. An easy way to display good sportsmanship is by cheering for your team, not against your opponent or officials. Do your part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience for everyone. This message is brought to you by the Kansas High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team.
Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time for our next level segment, an opportunity to talk to former high school athletes that competed in Kansas that are now competing at a college or university in the state of Kansas. And today's guest is going to be Jimmy Dorsey. He's a member of the Baker University men's basketball team and out of Wellsville High School. Hey, Jimmy, appreciate your time. For you, going back to those high school days a few years ago, like what do you remember about competing at Wellsville?
Well, thank you for having me on. It's an honor. Thinking back to Wellsville, I kind of just want to give my credit to Coach O'Neill and my teammates, and we had a lot of fun at Wellsville, I'd like to say. We were competitive every year I was there, and it was a fun environment, fun town.
Like for you, growing up, it was did you look up to anybody when you were growing up, that was in high school at that time?
Carson Powelson and, guys like that, Seamus Carney, high school guys like that were always an inspiration to me. And then my dad also went to Wellsville, so seeing his name up on the record boards is always an inspiration to me.
All right, you bring up your dad and the record book now. I remember the night, the 45-point night. So, for you, did you know you had the ability to put up 45 points?
Yeah, because I had a couple games before where I was 37 and 39 and got pulled out in the before the fourth quarter. So I kind of knew I had that ability to get to 45, but coach decided to let me go get that in the fourth quarter out of Swanee. It's pretty special.
Now, what was going through your head during that game? Did you have a pretty good feeling? At what point you're okay, hey, this might be a special night?
I was kind of just playing. It wasn't until the third quarter, my coach pulled me aside after a timeout and was like, "Hey, you're gonna keep trying to score. We're gonna leave you in until you get this record." So, shout out to him for allowing me to do that.
What was the conversation like with your dad after that game?
Not many words, a little bit of tears because my grandpa passed away just a couple months before that, and it was a pretty special moment to be able to share that with my dad. So,
for you going to Baker University, what went into your recruitment and choosing Baker?
Mainly Coach Dooley. I've been coming to Baker camps since I was young, and I've always kind of had a relationship with Dooley. And did a visit here. Special place. I love the campus, and like I said, Dooley's an amazing guy. So that kind of sold my decision for sure.
When you arrive and you first arrived on college and you get there, what's that experience like? Just competing at that high school level and then making that next jump.
Well, there's definitely a physicality factor when it comes to the jump from high school to college, and stuff you get in high school when it comes to foul calls and stuff like that, you're not going to get in college. So definitely taking that maturity factor and taking that leap in that aspect, and being tougher, being able to play through contact and stuff like that.
Even from like a competition level, I mean, what's it like when you're going up against some of these college athletes that are going to, probably move on and do some other things, but like for you, like just getting to compete against some of these top athletes, what's that like?
It's an honor. It's special for sure. Not many people obviously get to play college sports in general. So you cherish every night you get to lace your shoes up and, go compete. Some of these guys are really special athletes, really special players. So, like I said, it's definitely a special opportunity, and I'm forever thankful to be at Baker and competing when I do.
Now, at the time of this recording, I looked at your stats, and like you're shooting 87% from the free throw line. Like, how much pride do you take in just being able to knock down free throws? They're free, right? So every time you get there, you got to try to knock them down. I've always been good from the free throw line, and it's the best way to contribute to your team is knock down some free throws. So, like, how often would you say you work on free throws? Like, is that something that you could do with your eyes closed, or like how much do you work on this?
I don't know if I could do it with my eyes closed, but I could. I definitely work on it every day for sure.
What's been your favorite experience at Baker so far, whether it's an individual highlight or just an experience there in a game?
Definitely last season, we went to the national tournament in Kansas City, made it to the Sweet 16, where we eventually lost. But really just last season, experiencing the run we had with all of my teammates was super special for sure.
Anything that stands out of what you learned at Wellsville High School that has helped you out and have some of the success you're having now at the collegiate level, Jimmy?
Definitely like work ethic for sure. Coach O'Neill would always go in 6 a.m., unlock the gym for me when I was growing up, from 6th grade to senior year of high school. So definitely him teaching me the ability to work hard and learning that from my parents too. It's definitely something that is translated to the collegiate level.
Jimmy, appreciate the time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That is Jimmy Dorsey, a member of the Baker University basketball team and out of Wellsville High School for our next level talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. Kansas Sports Chatter, designed to be as interactive as possible. If you have any suggestions or things that you want to see on the show, make sure you reach out. You can find all their contact information on our social media pages, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. That'll do it for another week of episodes. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday here on Kansas Sports Chatter.